Gentlemen, this is a test. Moments such as these are matters of faith. To fail is to invite doubt into everything we believe, everything that we have fought for. Doubt will plunge this country back into chaos, and I will not let that happen. Gentlemen, I want this terrorist found, and I want him to understand what terror really means.
Hello, welcome to Johnsequitur. Today, I was going to talk about Tank Girl. And that was going to be fun because we were going to talk about water wars and Nestle and all kinds of interesting, fun topics. Real fun. But I've got different Armageddon things to worry about because this weekend the president decided to threaten to wipe out an entire civilization. I was so freaked out that I called off on Tuesday to stay home with my family and spend time with them because I thought I was going to be dead the next day. But I should have known he would take the first off-ramp he could get because he doesn't, the markets went where he wanted, and he doesn't actually want to kill everybody yet. Maybe later. Israel immediately broke this deal that they had, started bombing Lebanon again. I watched a girl in Beirut crying at her dad as missiles were falling on top of them, and was like, I don't really need to see it to get it, but fuck, man, I get it. So where's Congress? Where's the vice president? Where's the cabinet? Where are we? Where's the world? Why is this continuously allowed to happen? Well, everyone on planet Earth is to blame for this because there is a solution. Remove him. Remove him. Remove the administration. But it's not going to happen, guys. Kyle from Secular Talk today was talking about NSPM7. That thing that we talked about like 2 weeks ago, where they're going to go after domestic terrorists? And he warned that people maybe don't fly so close to the sun. Well, Kyle, call me Icarus, because we're going in, baby. Here's why nothing is going to happen. And it starts with, number one, the Republicans. Duh. This one should be the easiest. First of all, they love power. And when they signed up for this, the Republican base overwhelmingly supported Trump. Like, don't talk bad about him or we will come after you support. So rather than do anything, they sit on their hands and hope that maybe at the last second they can distance themselves from him at the next election and pretend that they were never part of this. They're cowards. Every group that we're about to explore has these in them. Cowards. But there's more. There are white nationalists, Christian nationalists. They really enjoy this. They don't like immigrants. They don't like atheists. And they like it that the White House just gets rid of them and they don't even have to do anything. They don't look like they did it. They're not responsible. You are. You're culpable for not stopping it from happening. It's the same thing as doing it. Sorry, guys. Some of them actually enjoy it, though, like Lindsey Graham and Randy Fine, the bloodthirsty psychopaths. I don't know if minds are changing due to the extreme unpopularity of the war, but it's a little late. I mean, your party, it needs to go extinct. It hasn't offered a single policy for anybody who isn't making $10 million a second. Not to mention that you actually want the end times to come. Like you have a say in that. I'm sorry that all the money and the child abuse didn't fill the hole in your soul. But you don't have to take the rest of us out with it, because that's what you're like, fuck it. Nothing on this earth is worth doing. I'm going to kill everybody. Unfortunately, until November, these are the people that control whether or not we get out of this. Who else is there, though? There's the Democrats. There's a lot of layers to this shit fest. First of all, there's the people at the very, very top. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, that low-key want this war to happen. They're being paid to want this war to happen. Obviously, they need to go. There's no real question there. They can't get out of this one. Everybody knows what they're like. Everybody knows what they do. They're never going to be back after their term is up. They're never going to be, they're going to be ostracized. They're all about committing genocide by the book, not doing it all willy-nilly, So they're useless. Then there's the fact that Democrats don't hold any actual power. They have procedural tricks they can use to slow things down a little bit, but that's about it. So in my opinion, Democrats, you need to change every single thing about yourself and start relentlessly attacking the GOP verbally. You need to attack the administration verbally, loudly, publicly, without decorum. Use the meanest, cruelest, most cutting words you can when you're talking about them. Embarrass them, humiliate them, crush them, expel them from power. And you know what else? Not that this is related to the current situation, but you guys might want to start publicly announcing genocide in the war. When the elections come in November, you'll win by a landslide. It won't even be close. That's the stance to take, and you should start doing it right now. Number 3, the cabinet. Everyone was chanting for the 25th this weekend, but dudes and ladies, King Couchfucker has to make that happen, and the rest of the regime. They're loving this. They're all about this. These people are unreachable by the way of reason. They need removed too, not just the president. They're not only complicit, a majority of them are either responsible or at least partially responsible for the decisions that Pig Vomit makes. They love the taste of his weird little dick, and they'll die to protect it. So, no, the 25th is out. It's out. So what about the world? Well, we have the world's most expensive and largest military. Why? So we can be dickheads all the time and face zero repercussions. We can go around and do whatever we want, and there's absolutely nothing that anybody can do about it. That's why we need the weapons. The more weapons we have, the more dickheaded we can be. So I'm sure that the world would like to Maduro Trump, but they know it wouldn't be easy and might actually cause him to end every civilization on Earth. He really believes he's God or like a version of God, so he's not afraid to take everybody with him. Which is why he needs to be removed before he dies. Because, in my opinion, if he's on the deathbed, they're not going to take power from him. If he says launch them right before his death rattle, these psychopaths will launch them. Because he wants everybody to come with him. Because what's the world without Donald Trump? It's nothing. So as much as I'd love to say, like, Russia, Europe, anybody, forcibly invade and pull him from the office, it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. This is our problem to solve. So, number 5, us.
Stand down! Stand down!
Do you want to die? I don't. But guess what, guys? Some of us are probably going to have to die to end this. That's just a fact. And right now, we're just comfortable enough with our lives that we wouldn't risk dying to save each other. But it's getting there. Last night, a dude burned down a factory, and he said, quote, "All you had to do was pay us enough to live." So we're getting there. But let's acknowledge it. We're scared. I definitely am, of dying. I'm not scared of you, Kash Patel. In fact, you and I both like hockey. Let's go to a hockey game. I'm sure it'll be fun. I like the Pens, though. You like the Caps. There might be a little bit of... We can't just walk up to the White House and politely ask him to quit. And we can't go to predetermined rallies and expect that to pressure him to quit. When he sees he's at 30%, he's not going to, change course. He's not going to resign. He's going to do everything to stay in power that he can. That means rigged elections. That means ICE at polling stations, confiscated ballots, ballot purging, the SAVE Act, gerrymandering, no mail-in votes, and eventually not swearing in the candidates that won as a desperate last-second Hail Mary. And I got a feeling, and it's a pretty strong one, that that's not going to fly. not with the people in this country. And that might be what it takes to flip the switch. This is horrible to admit, but tell me it's not true. We should be going to every single one of the camps that we're holding people in and tearing them down to the ground. But we're not. We're not because we're scared. But at some point, it's going to come down to two things: risking dying or dying. I'm sorry. It's on us, man. That's it for this episode. Tomorrow, or whenever I feel like recording again, because I'm about to record a horror review on the movie Extra, we'll talk about Tank Girl. Maybe, if there is a tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.